Hey, if you're a leader, what's the one thing you might be missing to make the best decision possible? Get ready, because this is your weekly kick. Hey, good morning. It's time for your weekly kick. This is Todd from Boots on the Ground Coaching. As leaders, we're often told that we need to make quick, decisive, and confident decisions. But what if we don't have the right information? What if we don't have the correct interpretation of that information? Well, this week, we had a great example of this. There was a rally in the US, and there was a number of white Catholic boys there wearing red MAGA hats. And there was a video that went viral at the beginning of the week. And what happened was, according to this video, these white boys were intimidating a First Nations veteran from, I think it was the Vietnam War. And he was banging his drum, and they were shown and have said to have been mocking him. Well, everybody jumped on the bandwagon. All the social media outlets went absolutely crazy. The regular news reported on it even. And these boys were made to look terrible. Their diocese, in charge of their Catholic high school, was ready to expel them. Everybody rushed to judgment very quickly until some more videos and explanations started to surface later in the week. Well, what we heard and what we saw was maybe something a little bit different than we were led to believe initially. The potential was there from what we saw later in the week and from what we heard, that this veteran who was banging his drum was potentially trying to initiate a conflict, a confrontation with these boys. And from what we were told in other interviews, this isn't the first time he's done that. Do we have all the information? No, we still don't. Do we know exactly what happened? No, we may never know, other than the people who were there. And even they might not even be sure anymore exactly what happened, how it got to the point that it did. But here's the key. As leaders, we need to be very careful that we don't rush to judgment. That number one, we make sure we have all the information possible. Now, we never have all the information, never, when we're making a decision. That's not possible, actually. But do we have all the relevant information that we need to make an informed decision? Have we heard one side or have we heard both sides? It's important to hear both, not just one. The story changes when we bring another perspective into focus. What do you see behind me here? It's a picture. Do you see a picture of a young woman, or do you see a picture of an old woman? Depends on our perspective. Depends on what we see. Because we all see things a little bit different. The reality is, there is an old woman and a young woman. And once you can pick out the details of each of their features, it's not hard to see both pictures in this one picture. As leaders, we need to take extra care not to get caught in the herd mentality. It's easy to just go where everybody else is going and rush to a decision and rush to a conclusion based on where everybody around us is going. That's where we get into trouble. As leaders, we need to rise above this. We need to make sure we have as much information as possible and that we're actually interpreting it correctly. So as a leader, we have to look deeper than the people around us. Most people don't look deep enough into the facts and into actually what happened in order to make an informed decision. As a leader, we can't afford to be caught doing this. It's too important. So take the time, make sure you're talking to everybody you need to. Don't get paralyzed by analysis. That also can happen, but we need to make sure we have the relevant facts and a correct interpretation of those facts before we're making decisions, especially ones that have to do with the behavior of other people. So, have a great week. We'll talk to you next week. Next week, we want to talk a little bit about the effects of workplace politics on the performance of the people that we supervise. In the next few weeks, keep your eyes open. The book review on Tribe is coming out in the next week and a half to 2 weeks. We'll see you next Wednesday. Have a great week.